Welcome. Thanks for joining me once again. Today I've got a video that might appeal more to science fiction paperback collectors, although I'm hoping the pickup fans will enjoy it just as much. A few days ago, about a week ago, I won an auction, which was peculiar for three reasons really. There were no other bidders on it, which I just failed to believe. B, it was just 20 quid. And C, it contained some books that are quite expensive when you buy them individually. Although I'll qualify that by saying, as Stephen at Outlaw Booksellers would say, a couple of them are in a right state, but nevertheless, the ones that are not in such good condition still have their value, and I'll explain that to you later on. But yeah, this is what turned up: a shoebox, but luckily it didn't have any shoes in it. It had that little lot. Now, one of the reasons that I wanted that particular set of books was because I only need 7 to complete the set now, and 4 of them are in there. Admittedly, they're not in the best of condition, but they'll do as placeholders until I can find a better copy. But to give the books a bit of context, I'll just repeat something that I mentioned quite a few months back. What exactly was the new wave that these books represent? Now, the new wave was something that came to popularity in the mid-60s, although there are varying opinions about when it started. Some people say it goes right the way back to 1952 when Alfred Bester wrote The Star's My Destination, which won the Hugo in 1953. But I think it's generally accepted that in Britain, the new wave came to popular attention in the mid-60s, and New World's SF paperback edition was the thing that was at the forefront of the new revolution, if you like. Now, New Wave was a movement to bring more literature or make science fiction more literate, and get away from the pulp sensibilities of the 30s, 40s and 50s. And, such notables as J.G. Ballard, Brian L. Aldiss, Thomas Disch were involved in providing stories for New World's SF. Now, New World's SF carried on from a magazine, much like Analog or The Galaxy or Fantasy and Science Fiction. But the stories were fairly safe, and it was a bit of a stuffy publication, and it was going to fold at number 141, but the publishers had some sort of deal with W.H. Smith and somebody else, and they decided to carry it on as a paperback, and they brought in Michael Moorcock to edit it. It had a sister publication called Science Fantasy, which was edited by a chap with a rather exotic name of Cairo Bonfiglioli, I think it was. It's a hard one to say, but I think that was his name. And this paperback started, I'm just trying to remember, I think it was May 1964. It carried on the numbering of the old magazine and started with 142 and commenced with another 20 issues, culminating in 172, which finished in April of 68. So that was a brief summary of the New Wave and how New Worlds fitted in there. So today I'm just going to show you what was actually in the parcel, and as I say, quite remarkable for 20 quid, because these vary, in a bit better condition than some of these. They vary from 6 or 7 quid up to 20 plus, depending on the on the edition. For instance, 142, the very first one I've not seen online. When I've been looking, for it, I've not seen it. So I've got a feeling that will command a fair wodge of money. But yeah, I'm just going to run through these and show you what was in the package. Now I'll start off with the 4 that I need to complete, or some ways towards completing my collection. I'll get the right ones out. Okay, slide that one back in, so we're in numerical order. Excuse me. Get it around the right way. Okay, now, as I say, these were the ones that I needed. That one's not in too bad nick. That's number 146. Got a little bit of pen on the cover there, but as I say, I'm just keeping these until I can get a better condition copy. That one's not so good. As you can see there, 147. But I'm sure I'll get another copy, 10 quid or under, which is what you have to pay for these in really nice condition. And there's number 158, which is not too bad. Bit of pen on the cover there, but yeah, it's a fairly solid copy. And finally, this is one of the tricky ones to get, because all the Ballard ones are not so easy, and that one is probably the best of the lot. Number 168. These became more scarce as the numbering continued, from about 168 to 172, the last 5. Obviously, the publication wasn't getting so many readers, and there weren't so many printed. And these were sold in, as I say, in Smith's and a couple of other places, but it also had subscription as well. So that's how it was sold. Right, now, funnily enough, the earlier ones are in the best condition. As I say, we started off with 142. That's the third one. That's in very nice condition. Shame I've already got it. That's number 144. A story there by Moorcock himself. And similarly, issue 145. Moorcock again. A lot of these stories, as you can see, were serialised, because obviously they needed space for other authors. Okay, was that, and then we move forward a little bit to 149. Now, when I said earlier that there's still a value in some of these that are not in such good condition, a lot of these stories were not reprinted anywhere, or at least if they were, they would be hard to find. So at least with the condition of some of them, at least you can read them, which you normally wouldn't be able to do, as I say, unless you searched. And even then, you probably couldn't find some of the stories therein. Right, that's one that's not in great condition. It's a bit stained. 151, but again, it's ideal for a reading copy. And somebody's managed to put a pen on it all the way around. We had 152, Charles Platt. That's not too bad. And so the ones that I do have, I'm just going to keep. Harry Harrison there, and 154. There's Brian Aldiss. And Bad Nick. These next few are quite decent actually. So apart from being reading copies, these might serve a purpose as swaps. You know, if somebody's got the ones that I need, you know, we do a 2 for 1 or something. Again, that one's in almost pristine condition. These had a strange binding to them, which made them look a bit strange along here. You got this, it's not so bad on that one, but with some of them you got this ripple effect towards the spine there. But yeah, number 159, very nice indeedy. 161 again, Ballard. The Ballard one seems to be the trickier ones. They seem to be the more expensive. And 163. If you can see that rippling effect there, you can see it there. It looks like somebody's sat on it, but that is actually the way the binding was, and there's nothing you can do about it. So there we have 163. A few more to go. Colin 164. I suppose I've been a bit unlucky with the ones that I needed because a lot of the others are quite good condition, but the four I needed, only one of them's in sort of really decent nick. Luckily it's the one that's probably the most expensive. Brian Aldiss again. So there was Roger Zelazny, Brian Aldiss, Charles Platt. Some good story, you know. The stories were more rather than sort of space, outer space. These were more what I used to call inner space. You know, it tackled a lot of social issues and dressed up as science fiction. But yeah, as I say, this is an interesting one. Behold the Man. It's quite a very famous story about time travellers, excuse me, going back to Jesus' time. Not in the greatest of nick, but certainly one I'll be rereading because I read that story a long time ago. And there's some great stuff on the back there. Ballard and Aldiss, Thomas Dish. So I think that's one of the issues that's more desirable. And then getting nearer the back end of the run, 167. Again, not in bad nick. A few notables there. So that was the New Worlds batch that was in there. Now, as I say, I was also delighted because I think I probably have one knocking about somewhere of the science fantasy, and this is a complete run from 70 to 79 bar 77. So that was useful. as I say, this was a sister publication, with some good writers. It was more aimed towards the fantasy market. Same publishers, as you can see there, Compact. There's number 70. 71, oldest story there. They're not in bad shape, most of these. That one's got a slightly damaged cover, but 72, it's not so bad inside. And 73. Interesting artwork on the cover of these as well. Some of the artwork was done by the actual authors, actually. There's a famous story, The Furies, by Keith Roberts. Again, okay, apart from that little pen mark, but at least it's on the back. It's not so bad. I'm amused by all the little pencil prices inside of these. That one, for instance, 50p. You certainly won't get them for 50p these days. Right, that's it. 75. A little stain. I think that's pencil on the back, so that's easily removed. And then, as I say, 77s. Sorry, we're not there yet. 76. That one. Some of these authors are not too familiar to me, although I know Tubb and Harrison, obviously. Keith Roberts again, the second part of his story. I don't think any story that was a continuation was ever made the cover twice, as far as I remember. That one's a bit iffy on the cover there. Brian Aldiss. So that 77's missing, so that one jumps to 78, and there we have number 79. Right, so yeah, that was that little lot. Excuse me, a frog. So yeah, I mean, I was very pleased with those condition and all for the price. I mean, I've got 9. I think there were 13 science fantasies, and I've got 9 there of them, so that's not bad. And then there's another, at least 19, 20 of the New Worlds. So, you're talking about 70, 80 pence each, which is, crazy money, really. Even as I say, taking the condition into consideration. Yeah, so that was a little nice little pickup I had recently. I haven't got too many more that I've bought apart from that, so I'll leave the other half dozen books I've got for the end of February. Next time, I think we're doing a video about comic books, which I haven't done for a long time. I think I'll be concerned with contemporary comic book covers, so I look forward to doing that one. Someone a little bit different. So anyway, I hope you got something out of that video. Thanks for watching. I must admit, since my last video on video game shooters, subscriptions have shot up rather dramatically. So I was pleased with that. But yeah. Anyway, thanks again for everything, and I'll see you in the not too distant future. Bye bye now.